Well, welcome back to the Grapple Theory podcast. We've got a very special guest with us today. It is the wonderful, the fabulous Shay Monet. Shay, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a while since we've chatted about getting me on, so I'm finally here.
It's been a long time in the making. It's been a long time in the
Yes,
making.
yes, but I guess you saved the best till last. So
Exactly. The best
well,
things are
technically
worth
I know
waiting.
there's gonna be more guests, but right now I'm the last guest. So
Exactly. No, the best things in life are worth waiting for, right? That's what they always say.
yeah, live in the moment.
Exactly. Well, it's great to have you here. We always start by chatting to our guests about sort of like the last few months they've had. We're just over halfway through the year. Actually, we're way over halfway through the year. My time management is terrible. Like ever since COVID, like time management has just got out the window. I have no idea when it is or where it is anymore. But it's been a really good like sort of like first 8 months of the year for you. Going back to last year as well, it seemed like you had a really good 2021. You must be really happy with like from a fan perspective the development that like I've seen especially in your work and how you've been going and the fact you've been growing as well.
Yeah, it's been, let's just say it's been the craziest few years now. I feel like when I started off, it was kind of like, oh, I might do something fun.
Mm.
And then recently, I feel like almost it's as if someone strapped a rocket to my back
Mm.
and been like, here you go, seat at the top. And I mean, my body is feeling the pain, but at the end of the day, we do this for a reason. We can come back to it for a reason. I've not fought through several injuries
Mm.
to give up so easily. So, yeah, I feel like regardless of wrestling, I'm here to prove a point, and I'm not giving up until that point is made.
Yeah, which is great. And you mentioned the injuries. We mentioned it a bit before recording as well. But how are you doing? How like are you back to 100% now? You all good?
So for those who know me, know my left knee is not my best friend. It's been an ongoing battle since even I must have been 19 years old
Mm.
when it was first operated on, and it was originally ACL reconstruction. And anyone knows actually tearing your ACL or doing any damage to your ACL is the worst because it's
Mm.
just reoccurring consistently. And you don't know when it's gonna go. But the main thing is the reason I keep getting these surgeries and stuff like that is because I'm not ready to give in.
Mm.
Like I don't want to pack it in and stuff, but at the same time, people need to realize you need to live day to day as well. So people will do wrestling, but they won't go get checked medically,
Mm.
or they just don't want to pack it in or put in their boots for a while, so they'll keep going, and they'll just rely on like paracetamol, painkillers. But at the end of the day, that only take you so far. But you
Mm.
need to think about your future and your body. So that's why I would rather take the time off necessary, heal, do what I got to do, and come back fresh. Like so, right now I'm about 98%, but I'm ready.
I tell you what.
I'm
I tell you what.
ready.
I feel like 98% is better than most wrestlers, right? Like that's
Yeah.
still a very high percentile to be okay. So
Yes,
I
it's
think
very. It's better than 50%, so that's good.
for sure, and that is so important, isn't it? We talk to so many people about that, about how important it is to not necessarily, well, in a way, like know your limits, but also like know that it's okay to take a step back at points, and miss a few shows, miss a couple of months if you need to, because otherwise you'll miss a lot longer in the long run.
Exactly. I feel like wrestlers sometimes get confused with they need to realize they are still human. Like we still feel pain, we still go through traumatic life events and stuff like that. But some people live so much in their gimmick and it's like a protection. Like I
Mm.
mean, when I am Shea Monet, it's I am the world, like I am a god. Like essentially the confidence of Shea Monet I wish I had as like me in real life,
Mm.
but it actually helps because you can almost transfer your confidence from wrestling into reality and it works. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly, which is great as well. And that's sort of like actually like you mentioned it quite early on. We normally get to this bit later, but as you mentioned it, we have a feature on the show called "What's in a Name," and it's sort of like I always get curious about where wrestlers' names come from, not in terms of necessarily just the name itself, but also it's like what it means to you. So
Yeah.
I always describe it as like if you're putting Shay Monet to the side for a night and you need someone to come in and be Shay Monet for an evening, what does that person need to have? What do they need to represent? What do they need to have in the locker essentially to be able to pull Shay Monet off to the best of their ability?
To be Shea Monet, well, let me tell you one thing. There's only one Shea Monet that can do Shea Monet, and I'm not Shea Monet. But honestly, if someone wants to try and be me, like, my main thing is just you have to be unapologetically yourself. Like, you don't give. I don't want to swear. But
No, you can. No. It's all on the table here. We've had every swear.
That makes me feel good.
We've had every swear word imaginable here.
That is perfect. It's like the way to describe me is you don't give a fuck what anybody else sees in you. You're going out to do you, regardless. Your job is to entertain these fans. You don't care what anybody else says to you. So like, Shea Monet is unapologetically themselves, but at the same time, I'm not going out there to be your generic, stereotypical queer wrestler. Like, in the sense of that, I don't mean I'm not digging other pro wrestlers. It's more so, I'll come out, I'll be flamboyant, I will get people confused, they will judge me. But when that bell rings, it's game time. Like, I am born and raised in a rough scheme. I will beat the shit out of you in real life and in the ring.
I love it. And of course, like, as well with that sort of thing, is the sort of thing where actually I think we said it in our chat with Riley as well, where like that sort of character can be bred out of like just the way, like, where you've come from, essentially, like the background you've been brought up in and things like that. Like, is that the same for you? Is it the same sort of thing where, like, you know, not necessarily like, you know, any sort of rough upbringing, but like one where, like, you know, you've had to, like, you know, battle for things, and like, because that's how it comes across in the ring in your character, that like you're this battler who, like, no matter how hard you try and put them down, they're just going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming.
Yeah, you're completely hitting the nail on the head. It's like, I have no problem talking about my past, because I feel like when you open up, you're helping other people. People can look at you and be like, I'm not alone, kind of thing. So even my personal life, I don't mind opening up about. If I can change other people's lives, even to help them at least the tiniest bit, that's something I'm always willing to do. I grew up fighting before I even started wrestling. My life has been a fight. Because when you, first of all, your sexuality, when I was growing up, it wasn't as accepting. I was the token gay boy, essentially. I would be picked on, and I'd be trying so hard to explain to them how I'm not gay, or I would be like, I'm bi, or I'm just questioning stuff like that. And if I could go back and say, why did I do that? Why did I not just be honest and be like, I don't know, like, hey, Connor from school, yes, I do fancy you. What you gonna do now? Like, is there a problem? Rather than defending my case, because what am I defending? What's about this stuff? Like, they were essentially telling me, hey, you're gay, and I wish I could turn around and be like, yeah,
because the thing, isn't it, is like, that's the thing, isn't it, is like, when you're growing up, that's the insult. It's like, but there's nothing beyond that. And like, if you were to be like, yeah, I am, so what, like, they would have no response to that, because they've not thought that far ahead.
It's as if they tease you more when you deny it, or when you say no, I'm not, and stuff. It's as if they keep pushing and pushing, and it's as if it aggravates them, and it's like, why are you so bothered? Like, why are you so concerned? And it's like the same sense of, like, I remember a thing that used to happen a lot when I was younger. They would be like, oh, you're gay, you fancy me, and that, and I'd be like, no, you're not my type, and then they would all of a sudden get offended, and it's like, well, what do you want? How do I win this battle? Like, what do you want from me? And sometimes, like, it just got to the point where I was sick of it. And that's when I realized, like, damn, these hands actually work. And fighting is never something I'm proud of. I don't think it's a good thing. I think it's unclassy almost. But sometimes, like, you cannot be pushed over. Like, if you're constantly picked on and teased and having 6 guys jump on one person and stuff like that, like, essentially the only way they're going to stop is when you fight back. Whether that's verbally or physically, you don't need to start throwing punches and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I did, and it worked, because now I'm like, okay, so who's next? But generally, like, my real life story connects to Shea Monet and makes Shea Monet the absolute weapon of destruction.
Yeah, and we love that. I was going to say, like, in your character, obviously, like, Shea Monet is very out there, very flamboyant, but also, like you say, very, like, tough, not afraid of a fight, not afraid to back down, sort of thing. Was it the sort of thing where, like maybe from what you had like growing up and having to defend yourself in that way, and almost like you say, like at times feeling like it was better to deny who you really were. It seems like Shea Monet is almost, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like as a fan, it seems like it's a character based on what you said that's almost like unapologetically you like making up for lost time, being like, you know, like fuck that, I'm gonna be who I am.
Yeah. Yeah, Shea Monet is like almost like the teen idol I wish I could be. Like they're just like to me it's like an inspiration. Like I look up to myself as that persona because when I see some like pictures and videos and even like watching promos back and stuff like that, and it's just like this is how I wish I could have been back in the day. Like we're very different, so we have different personalities compared to my real life and my wrestling life. But it's very much just like if I could look back, then that's definitely something I would have took from Shea Monet is the confidence, and etc.
No, it seems like that. It really does. It really does, and it's really cool to see that coming out in your character as well. Like I think that the Shea Monet is again like we spoke about it with Riley as well. Like again, I was going to get into this later, but in terms of like the representation you see on the scene, like I think that there was a time, like not even that long ago, maybe even like 10 years ago, where you would have like seen LGBTQ characters in wrestling classed as like the token gay character. But like we spoke about it with Riley, and it's like, you know, you have all these characters now, and like they're all part of the LGBTQ plus community, but like they're not. None of them are the same in any way. Like all of these characters are so different, and that's so inspiring to see from the outside, like looking in as well. You know what I mean? See all these different types of representation as well in this one community.
Yeah, no, you're completely right. I feel like it still happens, unfortunately. But over the last couple of years, they seem to put us in a box. Essentially, it's like, if we have one member of the LGBTQ community on our show, that's us done our job. Like we're tick the box. We don't need to book anybody else. And there's actually been a few times where promoters have literally said to me like, "We don't need you. We have Priscilla," or "We don't need you. We have Visage," and it's just like
they've said that to you like outright.
Oh yeah,
that's mad.
Like I've had promoters literally say to me, so one promoter actually did say to me that as much as they want to use me in the show, they couldn't because they don't know how the fans would perceive me because I'm gay and they might be homophobic. And it's just like, okay, that sounds like a fan's problem.
Yeah, that's mental. I mean, like, we won't necessarily name and shame, but that's ridiculous, like, especially in 2023 to... Again, like, it's on the fans, right? It's like, if the fan is homophobic, you kick the fan out. You don't deny the wrestler that you apparently want to book a booking because of that.
Oh, no, exactly. And it's a shame, like, hearing it because it's like, I'm not about cancel culture and all that because I really want everybody to do well. If someone's running a show, we have a lot of shows in the UK right now, but in certain areas, there's a bigger roster out there than there is shows, so it's hard trying to get bookings every single show and stuff like that. So I don't want to decrease anyone's opportunities. The reason I don't do like the cancel culture and stuff like that. However, if I could, I would be able to compose a list of things that would basically get all these promotions in trouble. And it's a shame because like a lot of them are like big ass promotions that it's like you wouldn't expect it from. Like that, I think one of the most recent things that I have was again, this is no digs, this is no shames, but is working for one of these promotions, and they basically said, "Oh, we don't really need you because we have," and they are representing your whole community. And my response was, absolutely not. I was like, I like, but they don't represent for me. Shea Monet represents for Shea Monet the same way would represent for the same way Visage would represent for Visage, the same way Tony Wright would represent for Tony Wright, etc., etc. It does not matter the sexuality, but that's like me saying,
it's like being like if I were like to turn around and be like, oh, like to a straight wrestler, like, oh, we don't need you because we've got a straight wrestler on the card. Like, he represents all straight people, right? Like, that's just mad.
Exactly. Like, that was my point. It's like, that's like me turning around and be like, we don't need any more straight men because we have Leon Slater on the show.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's mad. That
It's
still
like
happens.
it's mad. It's kind of like the almost the fight that the women had, where it was like the women were only getting like one match per show essentially, and it's like, oh, we don't need any more women on the show because we already have our token women's match. Like that's how it feels, kind of thing. So like I'm like maybe we should start like hashtag give gays a chance or something like that. Maybe that would help.
Hopefully, I mean, like that's just ridiculous, isn't it? It's crazy. It's crazy. Like again, we've had Riley on, we've had Adam Bolt on as well. Like we've had loads of the LGBTQ plus community in wrestling on.
Yeah.
And like a few of them have said like not to that extent. I've not heard anything to that extent, but like again, like there are still some promotions who feel like that, who like will see it as like more of a token thing than a bookings thing. But like on the other hand, like there are people also who say there are promotions who are improving it, helping to improve it as well. Like in terms of because again, it's like I think again we said it was right. It's like it's not necessarily about. It shouldn't be about we're booking these people because they're part of this community. It should be like we're booking these people because they're great wrestlers, regardless of what community they belong to.
Exactly. No, exactly. And you mentioned a familiar name, which is Adam Bolt. Me and Adam pretty much represent for the same thing. Where we don't want to be declared for our sexualities, and more so for the fact that we can wrestle, that we can go in the ring, and we're actually very close because we bonded on the simple fact like that's how we want to come across as wrestlers. We don't want to be perceived for the simple fact we're gay or we're bisexual and stuff like that. Like our sexual preferences shouldn't matter how and like affect how we wrestle. It's really based on talent. This is why I made a point of when I make my return, like fun and games are over. Like gimmicks and that is great. I love my character, but I'm gonna show you that the fucking gays can go. I'm just sick of it now. I'm sick of people almost coming up with excuses not to use this, whether that's the way we move in the ring or run the ropes or like tiny wee things that they just jump on for an excuse. I'm sick of it. And I'm going to show that I can wrestle like your Leon Slaters or your Robbie X's or your BT Guns. Like, I'm going to show you that I can go as much as them. A point to prove.
It's mad that people don't think that. Like, you look at like the wrestlers that are on the scene who are like part of the LGBTQ plus community, like yourself and Riley and Adam and like Harley Hudson and stuff. Like, I mean, I know I'm just a fan, but I wouldn't want to be in the ring with any of you guys because you beat the shit out of me. Like, you know what I mean? You guys go hard. Like, you're aggressive in the ring. Like, it's ridiculous to think like you would be less aggressive depending on your sexuality, right?
Yeah, I feel like we're more aggressive because it does feel like we have a point to prove. Because people kind of look at it as like, well, back in the day, we used to be the comedy act. Like that would be our gig. Like, let's send them out, open match, get the crowd's energy up, get them some laughs. Let's do that. And I remember I thought that was the only place that I was going to fit in. Essentially, like, I thought this is the only place for me wrestling. Like, I need to do this. And then like during COVID and stuff like that, when I had returned, well, it was when I first made my debut in ICW. So. It was during closed door tapings, which essentially means there was no fans. There were just cameras and your wrestler and your opponent and stuff like that. And that was the moment where I went, no, like these guys here, ICW management, look at me as a wrestler, not as a comedy act, not as a joke. This is time to step up my game and show that I can keep up with all these guys, all these girls, no matter sexuality.
Yeah. For sure, and that's awesome to see, and it's awesome, and it's cool to see for yourself and every other member of that community who's getting these opportunities now. Again, like just regardless of the community, just getting these opportunities because you're all fucking great wrestlers. Like that's the most important thing to see. Like that's the best thing.
I'm like mother of the hen right now. Like I feel like Messiah just kind of passed the torch, and I'm like the mother, and I'm like I'm too young to have so many kids. What's going on? Like, because you even have like so much new wrestlers coming up who so happen to be queer, but again, it's purely based on their wrestling. Like you have like your Prince Pele's and your Drew Mercury's and stuff. Like these are all people who have actually had a word with me and spoken to me and been like, the reason I don't want to show flamboyancy is because I don't want to be put in that box of LGBTQ and stuff. And that's why I decided, you know what, I'm not going to wear makeup. I'm not going to wear like flashy gear and stuff like that, because I'm proving it does not matter the way you look, what you wear. Like, it does not take away from the fact that you could whip somebody's ass. Like, no matter how flamboyant you are, it does not mean you can fight. It does not mean that you can't fight.
Yeah.
Just kind of mark my film motto up
Make
there.
sure it's clear, yeah. But no, you're exactly right. And I was going to ask, like, coming through, did you ever have that where, like, you maybe doubted yourself, like, is this the right industry for me? Like, if I'm not going to be able to be who I am, and also, like, you know, is this what, like you almost like alluded to, like, is this what wrestling is going to be for me, where I'm always just put in this box of, like, this is the limit of what I can do?
Yeah, all the time, still to this day. And it's hard because I feel like I have a responsibility, because I have done quite a lot. I get people reaching out to me being like, what do I do if I don't want to do this anymore? Or, oh, I'm pissed off with wrestling because of this, and this. And I feel like it's my responsibility to help them. But I go through it as well. But I don't want to show that. I want to keep them going. I want to be positive for them. But, like, I go through phases all the time where I'm like, should I just hang up my boots? Like, my body's getting hurt and stuff like that. I feel like I'm trying to constantly prove myself. It's not paying off. Am I finally going to get somewhere? I do not know. Like, it's constantly a fight and a fight and a fight. And then I met Effie, who we all know. And that man showed me that I was a star. That's what happened. So now, this time coming back from injury, my motto is, if you want to be a champion, you got to act like a champion. So I'm focusing on me and only me. Like, I don't want to hear no gossip. I don't want to hear no, this person got this, or people burying people in success and stuff like that. I don't want to hear about that. I want to see people be selfish and about themselves. Like, show me your work ethic. Like, work hard and get places.
Yeah.
Full stop. Like, end the story. Be productive, or just do nothing at all.
Exactly. And it's so cool. Like, again, like, Effie is someone who's such a pillar of that community, that, like, he just, we've spoken to so many people, like, in the community or not, who, like, are just so inspired by, like, how he lifts people up, right? He seems to be that sort of person that's all about, like, others and lifting them up and making sure they're getting the best out of themselves.
Yeah.
Which
so
is,
you're
like,
completely right.
Which is super cool. And it's great to hear you had that experience with him as well, like, in terms of... Yeah.
He's obviously someone that people watch from the UK, and you think, like, oh, this is a big name and stuff like that. Like, I remember the first time I saw Effie, and it was... I remember... The wee girl was called Izzy, I'm sure. She was like Bailey's #1 fan in NXT. And Effie had a storyline with this wee girl, and I went, who in the heck is this old man? And this was like when I was just a young pup. I must have been 17, 18. And then it's like, it's weird because years later you would never think, like, okay, this is like a good friend of mine now. Like, this is someone who I can talk on the daily to. This is someone that I've shared the ring with and shared big moments with. This is someone who I main evented a motherfucking TNT show, like, show of the year potentially with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, you don't think these things into your career until they happen. Like, expect the unexpected, because Effie and Ali made me a star. That, like, I'm just saying that out loud. Like, I don't discredit anybody else for giving me opportunities, but that TNT Big A Brunch show set me off.
Yeah.
That's when I became Shea Monet.
Yeah, and especially, like, when like the promotion and them as well, because, like, it's Effie's show, right? It's his Big Gay Brunch. But, like, when they and the promotion themselves have that confidence in you to be the main event, like, that's got to be, like, a real good recognition thing of, like, shit, like, okay, I'm doing something, like, I'm on the path because it's leading me here.
Yeah, so TNT is a weird one, because I thought, again, it's like just paranoia and hypochondriac. Like, they already had Visage, so I was like, they don't need me. But me and Visage are completely different, but I don't know how the promoter's mind worked at that time. And then me and Visage were supposed to wrestle a couple of times, and unfortunately things happened which interfered with it. And, like, it wasn't supposed to be a triple threat at the GCW weekend. But making my debut on not only a TNT show, but a GCW show, like, that was pressure and pressure and pressure. And then I came out with a win. So I beat not only TNT's hometown queer, we'll say, but now I just beat Effie, who's GCW's big star. So it's like, what better way to come in and make a name for yourself?
Yeah.
And say, this is why you should use me, other than coming in and beating two of the biggest stars from both promotions. Like
Yeah.
I was the outsider who came in and had a point to prove, and I think I've done a pretty good job.
Oh, you did, for sure, for sure. And it's like you mentioned about like earlier about in terms of getting those opportunities, but you mentioned just in the last like 5 minutes ICW, TNT, like these are two of the biggest like promotions in the country
Wow.
that you've been
Yeah.
on, like, and that you've been regular on, and getting those opportunities on, which is like crazy cool.
I believe we were on the WWE Network at the time.
Yeah.
And I believe Priscilla put it as I was the first ever LGBTQ based wrestler to portray a queer character on WWE television. Like, so
Really?
someone who's out as gay and personifying a queer character, because you have your Sonya Deville's and that, but there's nothing from Sonya that really says, oh, she's queer. Like, she's just like, the first thing they're going to look at is like, she's a pretty woman.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you had Goldust, but Goldust he's a married man.
Yeah.
Like, he is with a woman and stuff. They stereotyped of what they thought gay people were being like. So when Priscilla told me that had happened, and then, like, I'm sure, like, a few months later, Jake Atlas was on, like, NXT and stuff like that, it was a big deal, because I was like, hold on a minute, have I just made history?
Yeah.
So I will forever thank ICW for that, because that's something that I didn't know that someone else had picked up on. And then again with TNT, they've took a big chance on me, obviously coming in as the guy they didn't really know much about, and I was obviously the less known one from Visage and FA. And I definitely think I done a pretty good job of getting myself over with the crowd.
You definitely did.
And again, with TNT, I'm just going to say this is just the beginning.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Can't wait to see what you do there. Can't wait to see what you do in general. But like again, TNT is a huge one, and like getting those opportunities is massive. And like that's like as a fan, I'm just super happy for you getting those opportunities, because like that's something that's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's amazing. Again, when I start talking about opportunities and stuff, I get quite emotional. If anyone watched Effie's Biggie Bunch, you will see I was an emotional wreck at the end, which I didn't see coming. I had composed myself the full show. I was like thinking this is a main event match. I was nervous. At the end, I just broke, because I didn't realize how much of a big deal it was until it was over.
Yeah.
So it was just, I think that night was so special to all of us. Again, I keep saying potential show of the year, because I just hope it is.
Yeah.
But generally, I just thank every single promotion, no matter how small or how big. I thank every promotion that takes a chance on me, because the more shows I'm on, the more work I'm on, it's not only a celebration of Shea Monet, it's showing that queer wrestlers can make it in this business.
For sure. Did like at TNT, did Jay say anything to you, like either before or after the match, of like essentially like maybe like why it was you going over, or what he liked about you, and like what, like, you know, anything like that? Did he say anything to you?
Jay and me have formed. So this is someone who was my boss, essentially. Obviously, when you're I think of wrestling as a workplace, so
yeah, of course,
that's my boss. I'm the colleague, stuff like that. And I've grown to almost be like like a best friend of this man, just because everything that he asks for, I give it 110. I don't flail about. And Jay's actually someone who looks at me and goes, you can wrestle Leon Slayers, you can wrestle Charles Crowley's, I can see you as champion one day. Like, these things is what touches me, because normally I take things with a grain of, like a pinch of salt, essentially, because I don't believe it until it actually happens. But Jay fills me with so much confidence that I feel like, do you know what, I do deserve my spot on TNT. I worked hard to be here. Put me in the ring with Alexis Falcon, put me in the ring with Charles Crowley, put me in the ring with fucking any of them, any of the biggest stars, and let me prove. Like, don't let me talk too much about it. I'm about action. I'm not about talking. Let me prove why I should be here. Again, getting these opportunities with, even in that 6-man in the main event, with Alexis Crowley. They're two of the biggest stars in the full UK, and they're traveling internationally. And then you have Effie, Ali, and Martina, who Martina's on ROH. She's been on NXT UK. She's been at AEW. Trusting me in that position as this little Scottish guy who didn't think he was going to have anything, and he's sharing the ring with five of the biggest stars in the whole entire world of the wrestling scene right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and the good thing is, I don't think I looked out of place. I had Lee McAteer from Progress actually reach out to me and just tell me how much he was super impressed by me. He was like, "You were the star. That show that was your night, and you showed them why." So I keep going back to it, but it was just such a mesmerising moment, and I'll never forget it.
Love it, love it. So Lee, if that's the case, when are we going to see Shea Monet at the ballroom? What's happening there? Let's make this happen. Let's make this happen.
Let me just say, there's been chatter, there's been talk.
Oh, okay.
I hope to see you soon.
Love it.
Maybe potentially by the time this is out, there might have already been something happen.
Oh, okay. Excited now. That's awesome. That's awesome. But like again, that's really cool, and like getting those opportunities is amazing. And especially like again, like you say, where you can be in that match with those names and feel in place, feel like there's not a wrestler out of place there. That's like again, I feel like another signifier of like, oh shit, I'm doing something right because I'm making it to this level.
I felt pressure was on. Like the pressure was definitely there. I was like, I'm gonna look so bad compared to these people. And then when the match was over, it was like, that was potentially my favourite match in my whole entire career. And it's a 6-man. Like, no one ever likes 6-mans. Like, they're awful because they're so hard and there's so many bodies and too much communication and stuff like that. Like, you can go messy really quickly. But I think we held it on.
For sure. And I was going to say, it's only a matter of time, isn't it? Until, I was going to say, because now you've had a GCW match, you've had TNT matches. Like, you know, TNT is known for its extreme wrestling. We got to see like the Shea Monet versus Clint Majera, right? That's
okay.
Like the proper like deathmatch stuff, right?
You know what? Like at the end of the day, like I always say, ICW has King of Insanity match. Like, why am I not the Queen of Insanity? Hello.
Yeah.
I'm right here. And do you know what? Like you have to do everything once to solidify your career. So if doing a death match is going to show people that I'm not a fucking joke, then I'm going to do it.
Oh, I mean, I don't think you need that to show people you're not a joke, but I'm just saying it would be a great thing to see.
Oh yeah, but it's like also another checklist. So it's like a tick, but it's like, okay, I've never been hit by light tubes. One's enough for me. Yeah. I'm done. Season retirement.
Yeah, one match for retirement. That's it.
Yes, I'll do it when I'm like Billy Gunn, years of age, still trying to make a living out of wrestling.
Yes, no, love it. I wanted to ask you as well because we got plenty of stuff to get into, but I wanted to ask about the Scottish scene as well, just generally, because as someone who's based in London, like obviously I know the ICW, and like I know the promotions, but obviously it's tough for me to actually get to them and watch them, like your discos and your ICWs, things like that. But like, could we have a lot of people on who talk about like the north of England being this area that seems to go a bit underappreciated in BritRest terms, in terms of like it's quite, you know, like especially like the guys at North we talk to, because Newcastle's like really far away from anywhere else in England, like wrestling wise, or like major wrestling wise. Does it feel that way in Scotland? Does it feel like you're a bit out of the way, like people forget about the Scottish scene?
Yeah, I feel like I always use Scottish terms. I always say there's a lot of hidden gems that need to be discovered, because it's so hard, because the English scene is so much bigger than the Scottish scene. So it's so hard to... I look at it, it's sensible, but why would English promoters have to bring down Scottish performers when they've got such a big scene already? But Scotland has... presented some of the best wrestlers in the whole entire world. Half of them are in WWE now.
Yeah.
Alba Fire, Wolfgang, Mark Coffey, Joe Coffey, Noam Dar. Like, all these people were Scottish wrestlers who are now in the big leagues. So essentially it's like, I just want to like almost grab all my favourite Scottish wrestlers who are like hidden gems, who I think need more. Like, we have big names. We have Molly Spartan. We have Casey. We have Angel Hayes. We have BT Gunn. We have all these big names. We have, like, Kenny Williams, etc. But there's so many hidden talents that don't get discovered because maybe they're not being given the opportunity at like a TNT or a Progress and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes I just want them all to pile into like a clown car, like a wee small clown car, and we just drive all our arses down. And whether it's money or not, I don't care. Just let us show what we can do.
Yeah.
And why we deserve a spot in this. Like, there's so many. So obviously the OTT do their almost like their camp run, their 3-day camp. And I'm really like pushing for so many Scottish people to get involved in that because I'm like, I'm not telling you this being like for me to promote OTT. Like, that's great that I'm doing that. But at the same time, I'm like, I want you to get more recognition.
Yeah, it's their name getting on that show that's going to help them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I want them to see your face. I want the world to be presented to, I mean, just to name a few, to your Levi's, to your Dylan Thorns, to your Luke Kairos, to your Arcade Violence, to your Drew Mercury's. Like, I mean, Drew Mercury was given an opportunity in TNT recently.
Yeah.
Because he deserved it, because he's good and he's worked hard. So it's like, I want people to see all these people because I don't think I think Scotland gets lost in the shuffle, kind of like what you were saying about Newcastle. It's such a small scene that it's hard to promote yourself for other areas to see you, and because other areas are so busy, it's hard to get on these big shows. Like, it's still a struggle for me. I'm trying to push for your Progress and your Solid Pro and your Wrestle Island, like, not even just the big shows, even your small family shows like Wrestle Island, your Infamous and stuff. Like, I want all these shows because I don't care if you've got gay people on it or lesbian people on it or queer people on it. I'm completely different. I want to wrestle these people. I want to see. I feel like I'm at that stage now where I've been doing wrestling for quite a bit now, so I have almost skills that I would love to then pass on to other people to help them. I don't think I'm a veteran in any way, but do I know a thing or two that I could pass on? Absolutely. So to answer your question, Scotland has a lot of hidden gems that just need to be discovered.
Yeah, and that must make it feel, because we've spoken to people about this before as well in terms of breaking out of scene, not just here but in America as well. When you break out of that scene, it must feel all the more better because you're like, shit, I've broken out of this place that, like, it's proven that it's tougher to break out of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was so hard because I think I was chatting to Jay from TNT for about 4 years before I actually got on TNT. But again, that's the perseverance of keep going. Don't give up just because one show has knocked you back and stuff like that. Because the bigger your name becomes, the more shows want to use you. And that sounds bad because you need to be given that opportunity first to be presented. But once you get that opportunity, that one opportunity, make it count, and your career skylines.
Yeah, it's almost like a what's it called? It's almost like that sort of like violent circle, isn't it? Like, you need the opportunities to get more opportunities, but you need one opportunity to get that. And
Exactly. But people always say, like, oh, just get a bit more work in first and stuff like that. Get a few more shows. And it's like, I'm trying.
Yeah.
This is why I'm reaching out to you, because I want to work for you so I can get more shows.
Yeah.
But to me, people do wrestling. So people do wrestling for every different variety of reasons. Wrestling is not about the money to me. I do wrestling because I enjoy it and I want people to see Shane Monet. But I feel like that's what a lot of Scottish people tend to do. This is why I want them to push harder out there, because we're a quiet bunch, but there's so much talent. Just, you can see it almost like the energies. Everybody's fighting for this one spot, and it's not like competitive. We're actually beating the heck out of each other and stuff like that. It's more so we keep training and working hard and working hard and working hard, just for one person to maybe get that spot. And it's a cry out for help. At the same time, it's also a blessing in disguise.
For sure. No, big up the Scottish scene. Big up the Scottish scene. And speaking of, obviously, you know, you're making the sort of transition as at the time we're recording in a couple of weeks from wrestler to promoter, right? Like,
yes.
So you got Iron Grindrs on at the end of September. Brilliant name, by the way. You spoke about it before we recorded. Excellent name. Like,
Thank you so much.
I think in terms of show names, just ever in British wrestling, that's got to be up there with like one of the top. Like, that is, it's just a remarkably good name.
Yeah, so I think some people won't understand it. So Grindrs is actually was taken for the notorious gay dating app, Grindr, which is known for having a lot of sleazy men. I myself have been on Grindr. I'm sure a lot of wrestlers and backstage personas and fans have been on Grindr. I'm pretty sure I've had a few fans message me on Grindr before. Um, so yeah, but I wanted to be different. Like a lot of people, when they think LGBTQ shows and pride shows and stuff, they automatically jump to rainbows and unicorns and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, like I'm a funny guy. I don't take life too seriously. I'm chill back. I want something different. And obviously, Iron Girders being my home promotion. So running the show is myself, BC Gunn, and Wolfgang, who is obviously fellow WWE wrestler Wolfgang. Had to get that in there. But that's their home promotion, and they're being for. I said, listen, I would really like for Scotland to have its first ever Pride show. It done amazing down in Liverpool. I want to be Scottish Effie. Like that's what I want to be like. I don't want to be Effie's gimmick or anything like that. I just want to be as popular as Effie is over in the States of how much barriers and barricades he breaks down for other performers to perform. And as soon as I said it, they ate the idea up right away. They were like, yeah, like, absolutely. But they're not doing it for popularity and stuff. They're doing it because it's a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And as one of their fellow wrestlers, they are 100% supportive of my idea. So they've let me take the reins, etc., while they're helping in the background. And so far, everything has gone well. By the time this comes out, the show would have happened. But I look at it in a sense of, I'm not going to just book this show as full of queer performers. The reason I'm doing it is to promote non-segregation. So we're putting fellow queer wrestlers in with, I guess you can say, your straight wrestlers. Scotland's first ever Pride show, Iron Grindrs, is coming to you on the 30th of September, Saturday.
Yes.
For everyone who supports it, I cannot wait for it. And hopefully by the time this is out, this is me now saying what a smashing fucking success it was.
Oh no, this is going out before then. This will be like a couple of weeks before. Yeah.
Please get your tickets. Yeah. Come and see the best of Scottish wrestling, and we also have a few people from the England scene coming in that you will see as well.
There you go. England. Who are they? Right? Like.
Sorry.
Who are England? Right? Who are these English wrestlers coming over? Like crossing the border. You know.
So. People you will see coming over though, I will give you some spoilers. You will see Benjamin Harlan.
Yeah.
And Jack Knudsen. Knudsen.
Yeah.
I do this all the time with him, but I always end up nearly calling him his real name all the time. That's why I have to stop and think before I do it. Who are obviously known as Act 2.
Great tag team. Awesome team.
Oh yeah, I cannot wait to have them, and that's their debut in Scottish. So a lot of the people that I'm bringing over is because I want them to get seen in Scotland. We have your recently debuted Prince Paley coming over. We have Hotshot Joey Scott, who is also a promoter for Full Force Wrestling, who will be making their debut also. We have the main queen herself, Helen Charlotte Campbell.
Helen's great. Helen's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like again, another one that like you can put in with like yourself and like Adam and Riley, where like just brutality in the ring, right? It's just like you're in for a beat.
Yes. Generally, like that's why I wanted to bring. Again, Helen is who I'm bringing over because they're representing the same way that me or Adam represents. We don't care whether we're gay, bi, transsexual. We're there because we're wrestlers, we're performers, we're here to do our job. So there is a lot of hidden gems from Scotland going to be on this show as well. But I'm not a selfish person. I want people to be seen from down south, in my neck of the woods, who deserve an opportunity, who deserve to be seen more, and this is why I'm bringing them in.
Yeah. Has it I don't want to say necessarily put you off promoting again, but like, has it given you enough or too much of that peek behind the curtain of what it's like really promoting a show?
I'm actually enjoying it. So I do events management and my current work and stuff like that as well. but I have such a great support system from everyone in Iron Girders and everyone down south. So combined with that, it's as if I'm not actually running it myself. It's as if I've got a full team behind me because everyone's so eager for this to do well. And again, like if this does well, this is only going to be in our Iron Girders local where we do our family shows. But if this goes well, what's stopping us from doing like a big, massive show
Grindrs on tour.
our venues? Sorry,
Grindrs on tour.
Grindrs on tour. Oh, like this is gonna be the new Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Like this is Monet's Big Gay Munch.
Yeah. Yes, love that.
But generally, like I just want everybody to come and bring their A game for this show. I've chose best of the best for a reason. No, this does not mean I'm pieing off anyone else. It's just the way the cookie crumbles. You have to make decisions at the end of the day. Not everyone's gonna like the decisions, but you've got to do what's best for the show.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's great. It's great seeing you do that and having the show as well. Because like you say, it's like you say, it can be a real celebration. If it goes well, then you can build off it and do more and showcase more. And it's almost like we said about at the top of the show. It's like, you know, these community characters don't all need to be the same, but as long as there's someone that like someone going to a show can come up to and connect with and see as the representation of them, then that's only going to help improve the scene and also like just help people in general, right?
Exactly. Like I feel like there's been a lot more Pride shows recently, and at first I was like quite worried. I was like, is this us segregating ourselves from the classic wrestlers? Is this us segregating ourselves from there? But in a weird way, I think we kind of deserve it because the reason that we're promoting these shows and putting on these shows is so we can prove that we can wrestle just as good as everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's like, give us an opportunity because this is what we can give you. And Big Gay Brunch was the start of that, and Grindrs was the end of that.
Always good to end with a grind. Always good to.
Always good to end with a grind. Always good to end up with your hookup.
I was going to say, like we mentioned talking to Wolfgang and the team there about setting it up. Like, what was the timeline we're talking here in terms of like first wanting to do this to actually it becoming reality? How long are we talking about in terms of setup?
So originally, I wanted to run a Pride show in Scotland for 4 years.
Wow.
One was supposed to happen a couple of years back, but COVID completely destroyed it. But in a weird way, I feel like I was a blessing in disguise because maybe the time wasn't right. Now, having a full team behind me who support me and stuff makes it so much easier for me. Don't get me wrong, shows are expensive as heck. Again, I'm not doing this for any money grabbing situation whatsoever. I'm doing this because I want to put eyes on Iron Girders talent because there's so many talented people, and I hope that will get eyes on them. But plus, Iron Girders as a whole was such a family orientated training school, and I'm sure I'm not the only training school that people will see this for. Like Future Shock and all the ones down south and stuff. Like from what I know, it's just the same. It's almost like a dysfunctional family. It's like your second home. But Iron Girders, there's so many people that will annoy me one day, and then I'm going to kiss and hug them the next day and tell them how much I love them, because it is like a family. It's like your brothers and sisters. And Wolfgang and BT Gunn have put so much work into Iron Girders becoming. It was only supposed to be like a little family show gig, and it's became so incredibly popular that we have no choice but to run more shows and expand our venues and where we're going in areas and stuff like that, because there's so much people wanting to see it that we need to.
Yeah, it's almost like a oh fuck, like we didn't plan for this sort of moment.
It's like, oh fuck, we actually done well. Yeah. What do we do now? So it's just like, I don't know, like Iron Girders is second home, honestly. And obviously one of my best friends, I'm biased because BT Gunn is obviously like my dad. He will kill me for saying that. But if it wasn't for him, I would be comedy act till this day. He turned me into a fucking megastar.
No, what a guy BT is like as well. Just like again, just done so much for like Scottish wrestling, but also just British wrestling. Yeah, no, for sure. Well, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great as well. It's going to be a great show. I was going to say, in terms of like, how do I put it? Well, what you mentioned there, sort of about not being in it for the money, because I was going to say, I feel like if anyone's watching this and thinks like, you know what, I'm going to run a wrestling promotion for the money, they're probably doing the wrong thing.
No, you're gonna, if you run the promotion for the money, you're gonna end up poor. Because there's so much invested in it. Like there's so many behind the scenes, like you said earlier. Like when you get a glimpse of behind the scenes of how much you're actually going out of pocket for it, you're like, oh God, like you're not. But I'm not caring about the profit. I'm doing this because I want to do this because, again, it's making history. It's first ever Scotland Pride show.
Yeah.
Hello. This is what I want to do. I want to inspire people. And plus, you don't know who in Scotland nowadays is a part of the LGBTQ family who maybe is worried about coming to their family and stuff. Or maybe they think wrestling, they can't be a wrestler because they are a different sexuality. Like, people still think like that.
Yeah.
I've had fans tell me that their son has came out to them as gay because they were inspired by Monet. So, like, that's very touching. So, like, if I can bring in a different audience who maybe are a bit uncomfortable on being themselves and stuff and inspire them, hey, let's do it.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. It's great work. It's great work. It really is. It really is. And I was gonna say it's any other like sort of like up and coming promoters watching this are going to be dying of jealousy just to the fact that you had like a whole team behind. Like there are so many like startup promotions who would kill to have a whole team behind them already.
I know. A team that works for free. No, everyone's just been so supportive. Everybody on the show is almost as if they're like behind the scene actors, like helping me almost. Like they are almost playing the part of the actor, the director, the producer, like because they are so behind me on this project. And I feel like I don't even need to tell them what to do because they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's like almost as like I'm like the head of the headquarters and everyone else is just kind of like doing what they're doing, but I don't need to tell them what to do because they know exactly what they're doing. They know what we're doing this for, and we're proving, hey, we're fucking got it.
yeah, and it's gonna be great. And it's gonna be 30th of September, right?
30th of September, Saturday, 30th of September. You can get your tickets. We also have pre-show party tickets where you will get an exciting, which will get revealed. We have a amazing drag performer coming in.
Nice.
Called Ross Dresser.
Love it.
I believe the name is. Who will be doing a pre-show party performance for the audience and also a halftime show.
Oh, yes, so it's like the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, like because I've not seen a lot of drag acts live apart from like if I may be out in a local gay bar and they so happen to be performing and stuff, but then I'm so distracted because I'm with my friends and stuff like that and we've had a couple of drinks, but it's going to be a different experience seeing it live and a wrestling. Right? Yes,
yeah, and I love it when wrestling has a halftime thing as well. Like you don't see that enough. Like I've been to only like a couple of shows that have ever done it, but a good halftime show at wrestling is great.
Yeah, because sometimes like you get your 10-minute break, which is like okay, it's good, but it's like I also just want to see more wrestling. Like, when am I going to do that 10 minutes?
Yeah. Like it doesn't take 10 minutes to go. Like actually, it depends where you go. Normally, it doesn't take you 10 minutes to go and get a drink. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you come back and then you stood there. You're like, okay.
So when's the wrestling back on?
Yeah, exactly. And then you just count down the time, aren't you? And it goes so much.
Yeah. I'm ready. Also, if you get your drink early and you drink that and it's done, but then the wrestling come back on, it's like, I finished my drink, but now it's coming back on.
You need something to keep your mind off your drink so that your drink's still there when the wrestling starts again.
Yeah, like some people don't even like if you're not a drinker or something, you're just there to see the wrestling. Some people don't move from like their seat or their stands and stuff like that. So giving them like an entertainment, giving them something to watch while there is a break on, and it's a different thing because you're giving them a break. So they're still wrestling, but then you're giving them something different, and then they're going to go back to more wrestling for the happy payoff. Yeah. So it's definitely, I'm really looking forward to it. And shockingly, so I was 50-50 with the idea. It was Wolfgang who was like, let's put on a drag show.
Love that. I love that, Wolfgang. Great choice.
It's great just to see so many people are so open-minded. Yeah. I love it.
No, that is awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, can't wait to see how it goes. Like, good luck to you. It's going to be great. I'm sure. We're coming near the end of the chat now, but we've got another feature that we like to end with called Anatomy of a Pro Wrestler. And this isn't about Monet anymore. This is about you as a shoot in terms of like getting to know you, the person behind the character essentially. And we've already got to know a bit about you over the course of this chat, but this is like a few sort of like almost quick fire type questions that I'll let you know, and you let me know what comes to mind. So the first one is it's all good stuff. Don't worry, it's nothing too difficult. The first one is what's your favourite post pinfall pig out?
Oh. So with ICW, we go to this Chinese called oh no, why have I got the name?
Oh no.
No, is it? It's not Happy Happy. It's oh no. Okay, I will get. I will find out the name. It's something something. It's like they got the same name, double.
We'll put them in the corner here, like
Yes,
there on the screen.
please look up. But after ICW shows, we go to this amazing Chinese restaurant, and it's like, open till like well they close at midnight, but we're been in there till like 1 a.m. and stuff. You can see the staff like hurry the fuck up. But because there's so many of us, it's good business for them.
Yeah, you can't turn it away.
Like the Chinese food is just like stellar. Like they bring prawn crackers out fresh out the oven, and it's just like that's when you know you're getting good food.
Yeah, when they're warm when they arrive, you're like, okay, this is a winner. Like,
yes, like it's such a like when you get the starter, like the appetizer, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
But the portions are so much. Like I don't think I've ever been able to finish it. I remember I asked for like fried rice with chicken, so chicken fried rice, and it came in this mountaintop, and I didn't know where to start, and I was just like, does anyone want to share this? Like, and I don't share food, so it's shocking.
I was gonna say, well, that's the. I feel like
it's called Same.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Not Happy. It's called Same. People from ICW will definitely recommend this. But I guess the classic one is also a McDonald's. Like you cannot go wrong with McDonald's. Driving home from Liverpool, you've got Molly Spartan talking shit. You've got Angel Hayes trying not to fall asleep. We stop at a McDonald's stop, and it's just the best food in the world.
Nice, yeah. Also, it's like the only thing open, really, isn't it? Like when you're driving back later, like
McDonald's hits different.
It doesn't matter if you want it or not. You're getting it because that's what's there.
Exactly, and see, because you're like the only customer technically.
Yeah.
It's all like freshly made, and it's like this is the best McDonald's in the world.
Yeah, I feel like I need to know more about these car journeys with Molly and Angel, though. I feel like that's more the thing we need to be getting into.
We can do like a live segment of technically Casey comes down as well sometimes, but
that's a car. What a car! Oh my god!
It's like we should definitely all four of us should become She-Rolls one day.
Yes. I tell you what, the talent on display in that car, but also just like the character mix in terms of personality type is just that's a car.
It's a great car. Do you know sometimes we just look forward to being in the car together? Like the journeys we're such a weird mixture of personalities. You have me and Angel who are like, let's get Hannah Montana on, let's get High School Musical on, let's put Disney songs on we can sing. And then you had Molly being like, where's this shit? Let's get AC/DC on and rah. And then you had Casey being like, children, stop arguing.
I was gonna say you got like the perfect like sort of like childhood pop versus like heavy metal mix going on in that car.
Yeah, but you find out the secret, almost like the guilty pleasures, because like a more kind of punk song will come on, and you'll hear me and Angel silently sing in the back, and then you'll see Molly like do a turn like, I knew you was like this, you sneaky little shits.
But then you'll hear Molly singing along to "We're All in This Together," right?
To be fair, I thought she was going to force over the car. So I believe it was Effie that was in the car with us, and Effie was trying to be Scottish, and he had Molly laughing so much that I thought Molly was just going to tuck and roll and abandon the car. It was fantastic.
Amazing. Honestly. I love that. Oh, we got to get Molly on to talk about this. If I'd known about this, we've had Casey on before, and I didn't know that this was a car journey that happened, or I'd have asked her about it as well.
Because Casey's a responsible mother and she doesn't like to talk about this. She's the one like, come on, children.
They're embarrassing me. They're misbehaving in the back.
It's weird. Like even when me, her, and Angel go out for food one time, she was like making sure like we had our pizza plates and stuff like that, and it was like, you're just a mall. Like
you're messing about, and she's like, right, one more word, and there's no TNT for anyone. We're driving straight home.
Yes, that is Casey. That is our.
I love it. Well, that was a wonderful tangent to go on. I love that. I love that. That's brilliant. That is brilliant. But it seems a shame to go back to this now. I feel like the whole podcast should have just been this. The whole podcast should have just been this one car journey. But
it would have been worth 2 podcasts.
Oh, we could have gone on for hours, couldn't we? This could have been great.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll get you back up. We'll get you all back on. We'll recreate the car journey.
Do like a multi-stream
In
More of that
podcast
to
form. Yeah, I love it.
She rolls.
Yes, we need to do that. Right, that's going down in my notes to do. I'm going to message them. I'm going to message them after this. Be like, what is your availability for October? Or we'll do Christmas special. Christmas special in the car with the she-wolves.
I'm so down for it.
Yes, we'll see if we can get that going. The next one is it's another food one actually, but it's your I'm sure you don't know this about Casey and Molly. I'm sure you won't know the answer to this, what they'd say, but it's your classic like death row last meal.
Oh, this is hard because it depends if it's like homemade or are you going out for food, like if it's that.
Well, you're not going out because you'd be in jail, wouldn't you? So that's tricky. But,
so I'm in jail.
yeah, it's your death row meal, right? It's your last meal. It's your death row meal,
like bat my eyes at the officer and be like, hello.
I mean, they might let you off, but you'd still want the meal first because you can order anything, right? You know, you're getting a free meal out of it. So
I really love Mexican food. Like I love like tacos and quesadillas and spicy chips and stuff like that. I love that.
Nice.
But you can also not go wrong with like a good homemade mac and cheese with a side of garlic bread. Like oh yeah.
I mean, it's your last meal though, isn't it? You could order both. You could order all of it.
I'll have spicy macaroni tacos.
I was literally about to suggest that, and I was like, no, it doesn't sound right.
But I bet it's delicious when you have it.
Oh, mate, carbs on carbs is always good. Like, you can never go wrong with carbs on carbs.
Rice, taco shell.
Hell yeah. Hey, wait, do you go like soft taco though, or hard taco shell?
So soft taco would be easier to eat it all. But then the hard, you get the crunch.
Yeah.
And messy, so like I feel like okay, it's my last meal anyway. I may as well just be a messy bitch.
Yeah, that's part of the fun of it, isn't it? Because then you get the mess all down yourself, and then when you go to the chair and stuff, and like then you know they put it on, but you'll like make a mess over everyone, and that's your final revenge.
Electrify the cheese.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's covered in guts and cheese, and you're like, haha.
I would love to get electrocuted, but the cheese burns at the same time.
Oh, you got like a nice cheese crisp at the end, yeah.
They're like eating Doritos off me.
That would be great. That would be amazing. Oh, this next one is good. This next one's actually good because it could take us back to the car journey because it's the song that gets you the most hyped.
The song
that gets you the
song. I think the song.
Yeah. Not even sure what that means.
I was like, is that a specific person? This is a weird one because the car journeys are so weird. We always end up listening to some kind of variation of High School Musical, but somehow Angel will always fit in Summer Rae's Call to Me theme.
What a theme, though. What a theme.
It's an absolute bop. So somehow that will slide its way in there, and then that becomes like, yeah, this is the song. This is the car journey song.
Yeah, that's when you know you're on the road.
Yes, it's like, because wrestlers obviously listen to themes. They cannot deny that. Like, that is their go-to thing. Like, I don't know how many times I've even heard Edge's theme, like playing in a club or something like that. Like, it happens all the time. But Summer Rae's theme always slips into a car journey.
Yeah, that is a banger though. That is a banger.
Nice. I know I'm like, does WWE own rights to this? Can I please take it? Yeah, please.
I don't know if I assume they still do, don't they, after the wrestlers left, but they won't use it. What's the point in them having the rights to it?
I know, recently I found a new, someone used it in TNA, but it's actually a song that is copyright free that is there. Ooh. So I'm like, hello, you're now mine. Yeah. So goodbye, TNA.
Yeah. That's always a nice thing,
If you hear it or see any of my most recent entrances, it's a hidden gem of a song, but I feel like hidden gem has been the word of the day.
Yeah, it has.
But listen out for it, so yeah.
Nice, love it. The next one is the movie that I chose, The Locker Room.
Oh, easily I always go to, I think it's 1979 classic The Warriors.
Nice, yeah.
Because I love classic films. I'm a big horror fan, fantic, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love the Warriors movie. It's just something that I can watch and repeat. And I guess I always need to slip in Matilda as well.
What a film! But we're talking we're not talking because I'm gonna I don't know how controversial this is. Everyone I've talked to would probably think this isn't controversial. But the new one, the musical one, based on the musical, is bad. Like, it's not good.
We're not talking about that.
No, this is classic Matilda. Yeah.
Like classic Matilda. Like that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like Miss Trunchbull Haunt My Dreams. Matilda.
Yeah. You're talking because Matilda's not Matilda without Bruce Bogtrotter lifting the cake tin above his head.
I know.
Like,
and getting just a full, like, when I think back, I'm like, that's a full child getting a glass platter over his head. Like, back in the day, that's what we did to children.
It's a little child eating a full cake and then getting a glass.
Forced to eat a full cake. You know so because that scene they used to say the cook's blood and sweat or something, I used to actually look for the blood on the cake and like, is it really blood? Is he need to go to hospital after this? Like, I used to be panicked for him when I was younger.
Oh, he definitely needed to go. Forget the blood. He definitely needed to go to hospital afterwards.
I mean, for eating that entire cake, the entire confection.
And it's also unrealistic, right? Because no one at the end of eating all that cake would only let out one burp. I know it's a big one, but like, you're talking like an hour's worth of like burping after that.
I know, like literally I mean, she had telekinesis powers, so nothing was real in that movie.
No. What? No, that's real, right?
Yeah, she has those powers in real life.
Yeah, that part's real. I'm fairly sure because she uses it in Mrs. Doubtfire. She was in before that, wasn't she? I can't remember the actress' name, but the same actress from Mrs. Doubtfire.
What was her name? Is it Mara Wilson? Is that her name?
Yes, I think it is. Yeah. She was in Mrs. Doubtfire before. I'm fairly sure she had telekinetic powers in Mrs. Doubtfire.
She is the OG telekinesis. She invented telekinesis before the X-Men.
Yeah. Oh, can you imagine that? Matilda in the X-Men.
Matilda would whip all their asses.
Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, we need to see that. We need anyone who's watching this who can make a Matilda X-Men crossover happen. Please.
X-Matilda.
Oh, it would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Oh, it'd be great. The next one's a bit of a throwback because it's your first job.
Oh, so I ignore that I worked in KFC when I was 15. I did not count that.
Everyone counts that. That's like the classic teenager first job.
Oh no, my first wage was £24. Like, that was horrible. So I always tell people that my first job was working in ASOS contact centre, which was actually a really good job.
Oh no, KFC's got to be better. Like,
no, a 25% discount off all outfits.
Oh, okay, okay. To be fair, yeah, that's pretty good.
KFC, you just get free, and plus, like, you don't trust the KFCs around here, so that chicken is not chicken.
No, no, fair enough. I understand that. I've been in those sort of KFCs, the ones you're talking about. Probably not yours, because they're, like, too far north of me, but I know the exact kind of KFC you're talking about, where you walk in and you're like, this has a different vibe.
Yeah, it's like, this was the rat you found out in the back alley smoking area. Don't you lie.
Yeah, for sure. No, I feel like both are pretty classic jobs though, right? Classic like first jobs.
Yeah, they were.
But we'll say ASOS. We'll skim over KFC.
We will say ASOS because that makes me look cool.
Yeah. The next one gets a little deep because it's your greatest fear.
Ooh, greatest fear. I mean, I guess everyone goes deaf, but that's a bit dark.
That is dark. But I get that. Like, I think that's a pretty standard thing.
I'd say my biggest fear is potentially... So I'm not the best swimmer, so I guess not being able to touch the ground in the water.
Sure.
Because I really struggle to float. I'm like a human anchor. So I just go underwater. Like, I'm excellent when I'm underwater. I'm a great swimmer. Above water, I'm not that great. So probably the fear of not being able to touch the ground in water.
Sure. No, I get that. The next one's a little lighter because it's your favourite animal.
Ooh, panda.
Nice. Panda's a good one. Someone else has said that before. I can't remember who, but someone said that before. And it has to be a
panda and an elephant, definitely.
Oh, two very different ones. I like it. Yeah.
The elephant I always said to my mum, we can put it in the shed.
How big is your shed? What?
I mean, the elephant would definitely take it apart. But I used to believe that I was going to get like a little Dumbo and put it in the shed and raise it myself. I still want that, to be fair.
That is the dream, right? That's amazing.
It can manage me in wrestling. Like, what the
fuck? Can you imagine, like, coming out riding on an elephant or, like, just bringing an elephant to the ring, like, the lead over your shoulder?
I wouldn't even have to wrestle, just knock their asses out for me. Blow your trunk.
The ultimate tag team partner.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Love it. Just like one swipe of the trunk, you're out the ring, easy. Great. It's a good a good rumble
Good.
attack.
I was about to say, imagine that in the Rumble.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just duck, it wipes everyone else over the top rope, and then you've
I
won.
would probably go over with it as well. So sacrifice for the good of the
You'd
elephant.
forget to duck.
I know, literally. I just get it'd be like playing like the sweeper and total wipeout, like just go around like it'd be crazy.
Oh, I'd love to see that. That would be amazing. That's Iron Grinder's show too.
Yes.
Brilliant. Actually, the next one is the only wrestling one on this list. It's your favorite match stipulation, but you're not allowed to pick Elephant Royal Rumble.
Does that have to be a real one?
Yeah, it has to be it has to be a currently existing stipulation.
Okay, yeah, because we used to always say like we're gonna have an electric cage pillow fight match, and he's like, "Come on now." No,
How has that not happened? To be fair, though,
I know. Like I can think of a few people who probably do.
Hell yeah, that'd be great.
So, the finish is literally duck the pillow, take the electricity.
Yeah, that's the brutality of it, isn't it? It's like you're fighting until one pillow knocks you into the edge of the cage and you get electrocuted.
Exactly. No, definitely. Match stipulation. If we're going like more kind of sane, I love a Royal Rumble. Like that is just top notch for me. That's my favorite pay per view of the full year. Like even more than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I look forward to Royal Rumble because you get the surprise entrance and stuff like that. But actual having a match. I think I'm really fantasized by like ladder matches, like Money in the Banks. I love Money in the Bank matches because there's so many intricate ways that you don't know you can use a ladder until you're actually in a ladder match and experienced a ladder match myself. That's definitely one. Like anything like a ladder match or like a. Do you remember the X Division match?
Yeah. Oh, the X Division match is great.
Oh yeah, like I would love to be in that. Well, TNT.
Yes, they're coming over. Yeah. Get it done. They're gonna be in Glasgow, right? Monet for the X Division match in Glasgow, right?
Please.
Yes.
Please, Monet is coming to the UK. Put me in the X Division match.
Yes. Make it happen.
We want Monet for the X Division.
Yes, go on, Impact. Bring it. That'd be great. But you're right with like we've had a few people say Rumble as well, and I always say it's weird, right? Because like a Rumble is amazing, but a Battle Royal sucks. Like it's the entrances make it. Like a Battle Royal is like even a Royal Rumble if the ring's too packed gets boring. But it's the entrances you want.
Because there's nothing happening really. Like I say this all the time. Like it's fine that you are kind of making time and hitting each other and stuff, but you need to keep everyone engaged. And this is the same way I like my matches. I never like it to be too dominated. I like 50-50 back and forth because you want everyone to keep engaged. You don't want to bring them down as much as that's a good way, depending on your character and stuff like that. Not for Monet because, like, I'm a fighter, so I want it to be back and forth. I love to keep the crowd engaged, and Royal Rumbles definitely do that because you don't know the anticipation of who's coming out next. But then when they get in, they almost get like that moment of spotlight. That's your moment. Take it. Like you do what you got to do to shine. Whereas Battle Royals are just kind of like, let's just bar each other in a corner until it gets to the final three, and then.
Yeah, there's too many people all at once. It's too muddled.
Yeah, it's too messy.
Yeah.
You miss who gets eliminated and stuff like that. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
no, exactly. The next one is your favorite place in the world.
Ooh. So I had recently been to Spain earlier to live my teenage fantasy and the drunk gals holiday in Tenerife. I really enjoyed myself. A place that I've always wanted to visit is New Orleans.
Nice. Well, that's the last question. The last question is your dream holiday destination.
New Orleans, definitely. I'm fascinated with just like I'm really into like Night of the Dead and the Bayou Swamp, and I love like the whole kind of mythical thing, like the witchcraft and stuff like that. Like I'm really into all that stuff. People don't like when I tell people, they're like, "You, like you're just like a little Barbie, like you're a little kid with a head." But I am like big time like gamer boy, like let's go crocodiles and stuff like that. Like I'm very into that. Like don't let Monet fool you, like.
No, I love that because that's the thing. Like, no, I love that because people always say like New Orleans, they're always like Bourbon Street and stuff, right? But like, like the bayou and stuff, like the swamps is what you want, right? You want the whole like hocus pocus vibe of it.
Yeah, people think like let's go to Bourbon Street and Mardi Gras and get drunk, whereas I'm like, no, I'm actually interested in like the actual artificial facts of the place. Like
Yeah.
I would love to go visit like they do like the witchcraft shops and all that. Like I would love all that because maybe I can cast a spell and finally find the love of my life.
I love that. No, that's great. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. Well, that brings us nicely to the end of the chat. Shay Monet, thank you so much for coming to the Graphic Theory podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it.
No, I've had a great time. Thank you so much. This has been like, it's almost as if I'm just chatting with a friend. So I love that.
Oh, that means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. And that's what we like. We like that sort of vibe. It's just like, I liked it to be more of a chat rather than like an interview sort of thing. So like, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And it brings us nicely to our closing feature, which is a relatively new tradition on the show, where we get our last guest to leave a question for our next guest. But you're not allowed to know who the person is who left the question.
Okay.
So I need to find the question because it just got sent to me here.
Oh gosh.
There it is. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So this is an interesting one. It's one of the... We've had some weird ones. This is one of the less weird ones we've had, admittedly. So this is quite a good one, I think. So the question you've been left is... what are the first 2 things you would do after winning the lottery?
First 2?
Yeah, 2 is interesting, because normally people say 1, right? But, like, 2 is intriguing.
Move it the shithole.
That's an excellent first one. Two New Orleans?
Potentially. Yeah. Maybe the second one, maybe I'd buy the love of my life. Buy them to create a robot of the perfect sculptured man that I want.
Alright, okay. So I thought, because buy the love of my life sounds very different. That is very different.
Sounds like I'm pimping them out. Like, no, I think I would pay scientific people to create the perfect man for me.
Nice. We're talking like a weird science kind of thing.
Yeah, like, but he just has to be like the Monet man. Like...
That is a brilliant answer. I love that's very. It leaves me more questions, to be honest. I feel like we could go another hour now, just based on all the other questions I had, based on this. But I'll get your question for. I'm very intrigued by this now. Your question for our next guest. Once we've stopped recording, so you've got a bit of time to think about that. But okay. No, Shay Monet, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. We always end each podcast by giving our guest one final bit of promo time. So whether it's ICW or TNT or Iron Grindrs at the end of September, why, if people see you on a match card or a poster or on social media and want to come and check out a show and you're on it, why is Shay Monet going to steal the show? And as an added bonus for yourself as well, if they haven't picked up tickets already, why should they get tickets to Iron Grindrs at the end of September?
Reason you should get them is because I'm a motherfucking star. Generally, and a real reason though, I'm going to prove you wrong. You're going to prejudge me by what I look like on that match card. You're going to look and be like, hey, look at this guy. That'll be fun. Let's go see the gay kid flamboyant up and get a few giggles for the dads. No. You're going to wish that happened because when I'm in that ring, I'm going to look like I could beat the shit of you, your dad, and your dad's dad. Because the thing is, I don't play no games. It's not a gimmick to me. The gimmick is that your looks be deceiving and just sit back, enjoy the show, because I can guarantee you it's not going to be one that you want to miss.